There's a whole page-long story over here.
Yeah,
the rest
there
is
is.
gonna read to you.
There is. Well, let me see if we're gonna do any of that.
Now you gonna read?
Part making tar and then whatever. No, so. Coming to you somewhat live from the Brewer Whiskey Studios, high atop Barley's Tap Room on Washington Street in magnificent downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of It's Just Bourbon. Although what we have today is something that
May or may not be
bourbon. Some people say it's bourbon, some people say it isn't. But in any event, I'm sitting here with my good buddy, Big John Richards, and we are going to sniff and sip and kibitz about this bourbon. We'll tell you the little bit we know about its origins and the history. This is Old William Tarr, Manchester Reserve, Kentucky Straight Whiskey. You notice that bourbon doesn't enter into the name. And what happens is that it is a blend of 7-year-old bourbon and 8-year-old rye. Nobody is really sure where the juice comes from, which is why the whole mystery of whether it's a bourbon or not a bourbon, but it's bottled in Bardstown, Kentucky. I'm looking at this stuff, and we don't need to really talk about much of that. I've got a whole. I was in a hurry this morning, and
there's a whole page-long story over here.
Yeah,
the rest
there
is gonna read to you.
There is. Well, let me see if we're gonna do any of that.
Now you gonna read?
Part making tar and then whatever. No, so basically, this distillery went out of business with Prohibition, and now they have kind of brought the name back, and they are making some things. Whether they're going to actually distill their own stuff, I don't know, but this is what they're doing right now is this Manchester Reserve and maybe something else.
This is what you can get today.
Yes. And for around 80, no, I don't think it's less than that. No, 60 to 80 bucks is what you'll pay for it. We tasted this, I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Yeah, because my fraternity brother, who has shot some of these episodes with us, brought this with him. So I do want to acknowledge that E. Randall Porter, we salute you, because he did bring this up and left it at my house because he had other places to go and didn't want to take it with him. I don't know why. But anyway, so.
He's coming back.
Well, someday he's coming back.
Well,
but
he's not coming back.
By the time he gets back, this is going to be long gone.
It's possible. Depends on.
It's not possible. What are you talking about? It's not possible. It's going to be gone. Ports, if you're coming back for this, don't come back. You're going to try and, think you're going to get up this, this button. Yeah, it's not happening.
And there you have it.
But
For those of you who are wondering if Ports was coming back, he's never coming back.
Well, he's coming back at some point, but certainly not to pick this.
All right. Now that we're done arguing about it, what do we have? I don't
Miss Lily.
remember this being particularly strong in the rye spices.
When I tasted this the first time, I thought this is just a nice, smooth, easy sipping whiskey. And I tried it before all of three of us tried it. And I don't think I've changed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think I smell some rye on it, and in this case, I don't think it's the spice. I think I'm smelling like
actual
rye. Like, I might as well be smelling caraway seeds, but I know I'm not, because it smells like rye bread. It does.
It does.
It smells like rye bread.
It does. I didn't think of that until you just said it.
Yeah. Sometimes I do contribute things that include my palate.
A blind squirrel. No, that's not that.
Well, that's a reference to the other episode we did of Bourbon today. Yeah, I smell the bread on that. I'm sure I do, and it's more of the barley than just the rye. But I don't know that I'm smelling a lot of the sweet side, the caramel or the butterscotch. I'm smelling more of the bread, the grain, and some of the spice. Oh, there's all the sweetness. Oh man, the sweetness hits you right on the front of that. And it translates into some of that caramel.
Oh, big time.
Stuff.
Yeah, the toffee and caramel.
But Amanda, the mouthfeel, it is sweet.
Yeah.
Hitting the front of your palate.
And it doesn't nose that way.
No, it doesn't. That's why I made such an exclamation about it, I think, because it smells like it's going to be dry and bready and spicy, and then it hits your palate and it's instantly sweet. And that's one of the things that's legitimately that your tongue does. Because you can only taste sweet and salty and bitter and what am I missing? Sour, and it's sweet, salty, bitter, sour. Umami is new.
Umami, we've talked about umami before.
Yeah.
It's some kind of Japanese.
It's the taste of deliciousness.
It's a Japanese pea kind of taste.
And then
this, not the
right, yeah.
the other pea.
And then we've now discovered tongue that you can taste fat on your tongue, which we can't taste. You have one of your taste buds can now taste fat. I mean, not just one of them, but part of your
How did that just happen?
I was like 2013 or something that we discovered that one of the things that your tongue can taste is fat. And that just happened. It may have been more recent than that. But all that to say that the smell, that's how different it can be when the smell and the thing hits your tongue and it registers with one of the things that your tongue does. So your tongue doesn't taste orange. Your tongue doesn't taste vanilla. Your tongue doesn't taste radishes. Your tongue tastes only those 6 things. And the rest of it comes through your nose. So make sure that you're smelling in and out when you taste these things and over them after you've tasted them. It's so important. I'm done.
Ditto. I couldn't have said it better than myself.
You talk for a minute.
I really liked this. And I liked it the first time I tasted it. I liked it the second time I tasted it when you came over and we did it.
I think I like it better this time than I did last time.
It is really beautifully blended
It
and
is.
well done.
The balance is nice. I was going to follow up with that if you did not say exactly that, but you did. But that's one of the things that I think is registering more this time than the first time I did it was the sweetness right up front and then the finish, the way the balance works, the way that you linger bitter and you linger with the spice and the front of it's all sweetness. It's a very, very well balanced whiskey.
I hesitate to put water in.
I know, because I know what's going to happen. We talked about this when we did it at your house. It's going to turn spicy. I can tell you it's going to do it. Because that's what happened. All 3 of us agreed that as soon as we put drops of water in, the spice just explodes. And I'm going to do it too, because I want to do it with you. But I remember that more than anything else about this whiskey. I remember that we all agreed to put water in this and the spice just explodes.
And I hate to do that because that is so good.
Yeah, it is. And this is one of those, we've had a few of these whiskeys on the show that we have agreed are less good when you put a little water in them.
Right.
And this may be one of them. I'll be interested to see what happens this time through.
I'm getting a much brighter nose on this.
Yes, I agree. All the bread is kind of gone out of the nose for me.
And now it's like green apples. It is.
It is.
It is. I give him so much shit about that because he finds, whatever his palate is, he finds green apples in a lot of whiskeys.
I find it a bunch. Eagle Rare being probably my favorite whiskey, and the famous one that I smell, just a bunch of green apples.
But I have to tell you, after putting some drops of water in this, I'm getting some of that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it turns into that. It's almost like stewed apple kind of a thing too. There's a little bit of that fried apple cinnamon thing. So maybe it's pulled out some cinnamon out of this too. Or maybe nutmeg, or one of those.
I am getting a little more spice after the water, but it's not as big a spice as I remember it from the last time we did it.
Oh, likewise. No, it's more pronounced, but it's not overwhelming like I remember it being.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And again,
but the night we did that,
it was not our first beverage.
Yeah.
Nor is it today, to be honest. But another difference, just like we did with our last session, is that this has been open for 2 weeks.
Well, that's true too.
And we were talking about this with our last session before we started, that some of these bourbons and some of these whiskeys recommend that you pour it and let it breathe for at least 2 minutes before you even taste it at all. And having let it oxygenate in the bottle for 2 weeks, it's probably changed more than a little since the last time we had it.
It is spicier. It's hotter. After you put the water in.
It is.
It is hotter.
It is. And when it's hotter on the end, like, again, as I'm talking over it, it's hotter. Like a cinnamon, like an atomic fireball kind of hot.
Yeah.
And I still don't think there's any burn on this at all. I don't get any alcohol burn off of this at all. Well, I say all, but that's not true. If I were drinking water, I'd know the difference. But
would you?
As it relates,
would you?
As it relates to most whiskeys, it's virtually zero.
I like that. I like it better without water.
I'm torn a little because I still get that sweetness up front, but it doesn't linger as much. And I'm not sure I don't like it better with a little water in it this time.
I like the nose better with water.
Yeah, I
don't like the flavor better.
I think the sweetness is a little more subdued right up front, and the heat on the back, the heat as I breathe over it, as I talk over it, is more pronounced. So it's a little less sweet and a little more hot, and I think I maybe like it a little better that way.
Well, you're not always right.
I'm not always right.
He's not always right. He's not always right.
Just ask me, I'll tell you.
Anything else, sir?
Yeah, this is good. Let's let these people go find some.
I am thorough. I got a little something.
You got a little misty-eyed, I think.
I did. I am thoroughly impressed by this.
Yeah, the liquid is very good.
$80 a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's as good as I've had at this price point for a long time.
Yeah. It's nice. Sir,
Here's to it.
so damn lucky. See you next time.